This is Maurice Kempner. I'm an attorney and a real estate broker and a consultant coach. I'm going to talk a little bit in this video about deciding for yourself how you're going to feel and why that's important. This is kind of a mindset question, right? I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was in college, it was a big epiphany for me. It was in a sociology class. I don't remember all the details and names. I just remember basically the story. There was a guy who was studying what makes successful people successful, right? And he had this whole friend who'd become a multi-millionaire, billionaire, something like that. Hugely successful. Everybody knew who he was and all that. And they had been roommates for a while in college. So now they were in their later years, 50s, 60s, or whatever. So he calls up his old roommate and he asks if he can come and stay with him. He doesn't tell the roommate why. And it's been all these years, so the guy says, yeah, sure. He comes down there and he hangs out with the guy and he tries to watch and see what it is that makes him so successful. And he watches him for a while and he just, nothing really stands out to him. And then one day, the rich guy, his rich friend, they go down in the morning to leave where the guy lives, and it's some big apartment building in Manhattan or New York. They go out and the rich guy walks up to the newspaper stand to get a newspaper and asks the newsboy for one, and the newsboy kind of throws it at him and grumbles, and he's kind of rude and everything. The rich guy gives him the money and they walk off, and the professor who was studying this turns to his rich friend from years ago who was so successful. You can let that guy get away with that? Aren't you going to say something to him? I mean, that guy was so rude to you, whatever. And the rich guy says, oh, Joe, whatever the newspaper boy's name is, oh, Joe, I don't let him decide for me how I'm going to feel, right? So this is a very simple concept. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it's simple. And the simple concept is, the idea is that you decide how you're going to feel. Don't react. You don't react to things. When things happen around you, decide for yourself how you're going to feel about it. Don't just go with your internal reactions, right? And when this professor did studies on this, and I wish I had my notes from college and could tell you more details about it, but they studied this concept and they found that about 5% of the population has this personality trait or this characteristic, and that most of them are, or a lot of them are, extremely successful. And I think that's true. Anytime you decide things for yourself instead of just reacting to things, I think you just have a much greater chance of success, right? And when you think about it, feelings are really important, right? I mean, don't you want to be happy? I mean, that's how I like to feel most of the time. I like to feel happy. And it's something you have to decide and you have to work at. Let me just tell you some things I've learned about happiness, because I have studied this a little bit from a scientific point of view. And we evolved is the theory. I'm just giving you some of the scientific theories. We evolved in a certain environment. So imagine your ancestor, human or pre-human ancestor, walking around in Africa somewhere in this grass, this tan grass. And he sees a lion over there, and he thinks, oh my God, it's a lion, it's going to eat me. Then he gets all anxious and suspicious and scared, and adrenaline flows, and he runs home. But it turns out this is just a rock. This is a kind of a tan rock that blends in with the grass. And so all this happened for nothing, right? But did it cause any harm? No. He goes home, he mates with his mate, he has children, and this anxiety and stress and suspicion and worry and everything that he has, all this adrenaline, it moves on to the next generation, these personality traits. Now some other guy, and he sees a similar thing, right? And he thinks, oh, this is just a rock. Well, he decides that's what it is. He's not going to worry about it. Turns out it is a lion, and it eats him. He doesn't mate, he doesn't have kids, his relaxed, happy-go-lucky attitude is not selected for it. So what that means is these personality traits, the theories are a lot of our personality traits in human nature Are there because they were selected for survival purposes in the type of environment that we evolved in. I'm just giving you the scientific theory, right? And so, happiness wasn't selected for, survival was selected for. So if you want to be happy and you want to have these happy feelings, you have to decide how you want to feel. You have to decide you want to be happy or whatever it is you want to feel. And it's just that simple. Make it a habit. Your life will be a lot easier once you can get in the habit of doing it. That's my opinion.